Hi, hello. So I just finished this video. I want to preface this with, this video has been made little by little over time. I've had this in the drafts for years, so it's a little bit messy. It's a little bit, you can see me get older as I'm, as the parts go. But I hope you like it. It's my pride and joy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, here's the video. Hi, hello. Today we're going to be talking about Mikey and Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers. MITAKE is a ship between Takemichi Hanagaki and Mikey Manjiro Sano in Tokyo Revengers. While there's other canon relationships like Draken and Emma, Takemichi and Hina, MITAKE is one of, if not the most popular ship, with over 2,000 fics on Archive of Our Own and 12,000 works on Pixiv as of like a month or two ago when I wrote this. So what is it about the ship that people like? Why do people prefer them over the canon ships? And from a narrative standpoint, do they make sense? Before anything else, we need to establish the story. Tokyo Revengers is about Takemichi Hanagaki, a 26-year-old guy who goes back in time to save his ex-girlfriend, Hinata Tachibana, from a gang called Toman. While in the past, he meets Toman's leader, Manjiro Sano, and becomes a member of the gang himself. The first scene we get of Mikey and Takemichi, Mikey leans in very close to him and declares that they're friends. Oh, also, we gave him a nickname, Takemichi, which he uses throughout the whole entire story. But
Takemichi, 今日から俺の立ちな。え?
For the first few arcs, we see Takemichi getting to know Mikey. Although he trusts Mikey in the first few chapters, enough to tell Naoto they should talk to Mikey about how to change the future.
マイキー君に会おう。危険です。本人に会って直接聞いてみたいんだ。何を聞いても無駄ですよ。マイキー君は信用できる人間だ。
Even though he'd been told Mikey is a criminal, this happens a lot where people say Mikey is a criminal and Takemichi's like, he could never do that. When like, even Mikey himself says he killed people, and Takemichi is like, I just wanted to see you. Like, come on. Find out my BF is a killer, I would... You know what, I wouldn't do anything. I'd stay quiet. For the first half of Tokyo Revengers, it's very clearly shown that Takemichi wants to save Hina. But around chapter like 118, Takemichi leaps to the first future he sees Mikey in, and you could slowly see a shift from him wanting to save Hina to him wanting to save Mikey. It all comes to a head in the Bow 10 future, which is around chapter 204, where I started my Fix It fic. But everyone in the future that he is close to is happy. You know, he goes to Pa's wedding, and he's with Hina, and everyone's great, except Mikey. People try to hide the fact that Mikey's not okay from him so that he doesn't do anything about it, I guess. I don't know. But eventually he notices one of these on the back of Mikey's neck as he's walking around on the news. He finds out Mikey is in darkness and runs off to save him. Some things to note about this future: everybody's happy except Mikey. Takemichi is about to get married in like 3 days, and then he's shown Hina's wedding dress, and he says that when he's happy, he sees Mikey's smile in his head when he's looking at his future wife in a wedding dress. That leads us to the current arc, or the last arc. It was current when I wrote this. Takemichi is now in the past and is determined to save Mikey. He speaks about Mikey constantly. Sorry. And even when on the rooftop with Hina, which is paralleling a original scene with him and Hina on the rooftop, he's constantly saying how he needs to save Mikey and how Mikey saved everybody. Honestly, I'm surprised Hina didn't become homophobic after that rooftop scene. After Takemichi finds Mikey and gets beat up by Mikey, he still chases after him. And it's even shown now in this season 2 opening that he's just chasing after Mikey. It goes from Hina to Mikey, and I don't... Okay, moving on. This is a very too long didn't read summary of the final arc, but Mikey's brother Shin was originally a time leaper. He leapt to save Mikey from dying. Except he killed someone to gain the time leaping ability, and the man he killed put a curse on him. That curse affected Mikey and the people around him. Anyway, after Shin thought he saved Mikey, he gifted the powers to Takemichi, saying how if there's someone you want to protect, use this power. Basically, Takemichi ends up saving Mikey because the powers Shin gave him. Oh, and he impales himself because Mikey stabs him with a sword, and then because he wants to save Mikey, he steps closer, impaling himself to hug Mikey, and it gets rid of the dark impulses. And then they go back in time to before Shin even saved Mikey to begin with, and before Takemichi even met Hina. And this is where I feel the story falters, okay? So we get them going back in time to before everything happened, right? And I think personally, and I know people are gonna give me so much shit for this video in general, I feel like the story would have went so much better if it just left it as an open ending after that. But no, the story continued on. And we get a few chapters about Takemichi and Mikey taking over Tokyo and becoming the biggest gang and blah, 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 blah. And then we get the last chapter, which is cursed as hell. And it is Takemichi marrying Hina, and he literally looks like he's being held captive. Listen, before you shit on me in the comments, because I know I'm going to get some, if this ending was what was meant to happen, why not just do it at chapter 204? And the thing is, Mikey in the final chapter says that he's going to miss Takemichi, so he is still sad. Mikey is still sad like he was in 204, just not cursed. But in both chapters, he is sad, and Takemichi in chapter 204 or whatever says he wants to make Mikey happy. And then in the end, Mikey is not happy. Not to mention, after 204, so many characters were introduced that nothing happens with. There's no development. I'm going off topic. Part 2. Why do people ship MITAKE? So now that you have my very abridged summary, let's move on to specifics. Why do people ship them? After asking a lot of people on Twitter, I found out that the main reasons people ship them are the Manila future, the Boten future, Mikey showing Takemichi his weaknesses, and how the story overall is all connected to them. A lot of people I asked mentioned the Manila future, which I talked about earlier, but Manila, in my opinion, is a turning point for the story. Takemichi goes back to the future and finds out that Mikey has murdered literally everyone. Like, literally everyone. Mikey is murdered.
I killed them all. That's why I need you now, to end this.
But Mikey sends a letter to Takemichi to meet him in Manila. The whole time Takemichi goes to this area in Manila, he is going, finally I can see Mikey, finally I see Mikey, finally. And it is the gayest inner monologue I've seen in a while. This future parallels the first future Takemichi met Hina in, but more on that later. In Manila, Mikey says, quote unquote, I wanted you to stay with me, and infers the reason he lost himself was because of him losing Takemichi. It ends with Mikey dying in Takemichi's arms, and in the anime, he nuzzles his face into Takemichi's hand.
Takemichi, omae no te, attakai.
Boten future is another popular reason why people ship Takemichi and Mikey. As I said, a lot of the reasons for this I already kind of said in the summary of Tokyo Revengers, but in the Boten future, literally everybody's happy. Hina's alive and well, everyone's alive and well besides Mikey. Takemichi asks about Mikey, mentions him constantly, and he gives up this whole entire good future that most people in the future would have just stuck with to save Mikey. He throws like everybody's good future away to save Mikey. Yeah, Takemichi leaves to find Mikey even though his wedding is like 3 days away. And what happens, this is my very bad recounting of it, but Takemichi and Mikey meet in a bowling alley that's like way up in a high building. Mikey shoots Takemichi because of the curse, and then after realizing he shot Takemichi, he goes to jump off of the building and commit sewer slide. But Takemichi somehow gets himself from the middle of the bowling alley to the window where Mikey jumped out of and grabs him and says he's gonna save him, and that's when Mikey and Takemichi trigger the time travel and Takemichi goes back to the past again. Another reason people ship them is how Mikey shows his weakness to Takemichi. Now, Mikey is shown to be the strongest character. He does not show weakness, and then he shows Takemichi the weakest sides of him, even though like he doesn't even show his second in command some of the weakness that he shows Takemichi. Mikey is shown to hate weakness, to hate weak people. Because he had been through so much as a kid, he sort of grew to hate his own weakness and hate weakness in others. And then in the final arc, because Takemichi dies, he sobs in front of literally every person who's alive that's been in the story so far. There's also the fact that Takemichi continues to chase after Mikey, even when Mikey tells him not to chase after him, even when Mikey shoots him, even when Mikey beats him to a pulp, Takemichi still comes back and wants to save Mikey and wants to chase after him and be with him. Another reason to ship them is that everything is connected to their bond, whether it be Mikey's brother giving Takemichi the time-traveling abilities, Mikey calling Takemichi his hero when Takemichi himself said he wanted to be a hero, everyone Takemichi saved, and the karma he accumulated from it made it so that he could save Mikey from his curse in the end. It's all connected and all connects back to them. Even while we wrote it, we will always be connected. Besides those main reasons, there were a bunch of other reasons. I said on the script that I'm going to put them on the screen. I don't have that tweet anymore, so I can't really do that. But just keep in mind there are way more reasons why people ship them. And I'm not even halfway through the document yet. This is so bad. Okay. Part 3. Another reason MITAKE is popular is because of their tropes. Now I'm going to be reading the tropes off of my phone. Affectionate nickname. Quite simply, when a character gives another character a cute or endearing nickname, because the two are either as close as true companions, or the namer is interested romantically in the namee. Mikey calls Takemichi Takemichi, but like spelled, it's different than his name, okay? Declaration of protection. A person, usually the hero, has her or his motivation built around protecting another person. Most of the time, it's his or her love interest. There are many, many times where Takemichi says he's gonna save Mikey or gives this declaration of protection. It's in Botan, it's in Manila, he says it literally just constantly. Let's just say he says it constantly. I will find you. This plot has two people who have become separated by fate or circumstance and thus cannot be together. One or both will try to search for the other, promising that they will never stop until they've reunited with their loved one. Takemichi says this about Mikey, especially in the final arc before they fight. Morality chain. The morality chain is a character who is the reason another character is good. Stereotypically, a love interest, a parent, a child, or a younger sibling. As long as this person is alive, the target of their affection will at the very least be a noble demon. Takemichi is a morality chain for Mikey, along with Mikey's best friend and his family. I gave my word. Any dialogue to indicate your deep offense that someone says that you could do something that you promised not to, or refrain from something you promised to. In the final battle, Takemichi says that he gave his word to future Mikey. Please don't leave me. A stock phrase said by one character desperate for another not to leave. This is Manila and died in your arms tonight. The author will make a character die in the arms of a helpless onlooker, as the onlooker, usually one of the dying's true companions, holds them dearly. The dying may flash them a smile or make a final dramatic statement before finally closing their eyes and succumbing to their fate.
Takemichi, お前の手、あったかい。マイキー君、嘘だよ、マイキー君。
A Dear John letter is basically a letter like in Dear John where they're like separated and they write letters to each other. Mikey's letter to Takemichi in Botan is a Dear John letter. Memento MacGuffin, an object which is the embodiment or representation of the solid, happy relationship between two characters, or of an important memory or period in someone's life. But unlike an ordinary tragic keepsake or friendship trinket, the Memento MacGuffin plays a critical role in the story. Mikey gives Takemichi his jacket, his Toman jacket, and then he uses these twin engines that his brother found to make him and Takemichi a bike. Everyone can see it. The amount of people who leave Mikey to Takemichi, his sister, his two best friends, they all say to protect or save Mikey. They see the devotion between the two characters. They see it. Always save the girl. The hero makes it plain that they value the life of their true love interest over those of everyone else. Friends, family, true companions, strangers, even all other life in the universe. Botan. Love theme. So your favorite couple is in the middle of a deeply romantic scene, the camera zooms, the lighting is perfect, and the music swells up. Chances are the music playing is the couple's love theme. May also be designated as such in official soundtracks. Stay by Justin Bieber or whatever is the love anthem. You are worth hell. This is my favorite trope of MITAKE, okay? The hero's love interest is doomed to some terrible fate. Neither escape nor rescue is possible. The only way the couple can stay together is if the hero joins this fate. The specifics aren't important. It's the sentiment that counts, true love and loyalty in its purest form, where the only actual fate worse than death is being separated from the ones you love and care about. And everything else is worth it as long as they are there with you. This can be shown in so many circumstances. Mikey says at one point it would be better if they just were in the original timeline where he dies and Takemichi gets shot and beat up by Mikey, and that's, you know. And Mikey fits the broken bird trope. These characters, often female, are coping with a cynicism catalyst, despair event horizon, or dark and troubled past by becoming as cynical, stoic, and or badass as possible. Part 4. Jesus Christ. You're gonna see in this video, I'm gonna slowly get more and more done with the world, because I wrote this years ago, and It's long, and the thing is, the video in the end isn't going to turn out being long because I cut so much out. Before we talk about how Mikey's written like a love interest, we gotta talk about how Hina falls short as one. I did a decent amount of research. I did not as much as I should have researched about this, but I found a list of good traits for a love interest. So let's get started. Meet cute. The way the characters meet needs to be special. Takehina has this. MITAKE has it too, but Takehina has this where Takemichi runs to save Hina from the bullies. Tropes. They should fit love interest tropes like enemies to lovers. I'm gonna list this as a neutral point because they do have stuff like Memento, MacGuffin. It's just that in the grand scheme of things, they are lacking in tropes compared to other ships and characters. Flaws. The love interest needs to have flaws. Hina does not have a flaw. We don't know enough about Hina even. All we know about Hina is that she's like a good girlfriend. We don't know her struggles. We don't know what she wants. We know nothing about her. The closest thing that Hina has to a flaw is that she like dies. She acts like the perfect girlfriend so much that the fact she's Hina doesn't like show. She doesn't have a personality outside of being Takemichi's girlfriend. And trust me, I love Hina. I love how I write Hina. Name like one thing about her that isn't tied back to Takemichi. I heard someone say a while back, Hina is like a light bulb. She lights the way for Takemichi, but she could easily be replaced like a light bulb. Equality or a hero moment. The character needs a moment where they step up. Other than slapping Mikey in the earlier part of the manga and a scene that was changed in the anime where Hina steps up when Taiju is about to beat up Takemichi, Hina hasn't done like anything to be equal to Takemichi. I made a whole thread on Twitter a while back about how Hina could have been written into a good love interest in the final arc, but that didn't happen. She hasn't done anything to be equal to Takemichi. She kind of just sits there, listens to Takemichi go on about Mikey, and then supports him and goes like, yes, you can do it. She stood there when Takemichi said the sight of her in a wedding dress reminded him of Mikey's smile. She just stood there and took it. If Hina was my friend, I'd be like, girl, run. Girl, get out. But, you know, complementary characters. One character makes up for the other character's weaknesses. Complementing something means completing it. Takemichi and Hina are not complementary. They are so similar. You could argue Hina somewhat complements Takemichi by supporting him, but there's no, like, we don't know Hina's flaws, so there's no way Takemichi can, like, complete her. Hina reminds me of, or is actually kind of worse than, the MCs in Otome games where they're there just to like project onto so they don't have much of a personality. Somehow Hina is worse than them. If anyone completes Takemichi, it's Mikey, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Plot relevance. The character needs to be relevant in regards to the overall plot. Hina has plot relevance. Obviously, she's the reason why he went back in the future to... the reason why he went back in the past. Well, she wasn't really the reason. She was the reason he continued to go back to the past. When it slowly moves from Takemichi trying to save Hina to Takemichi trying to save Mikey, the impact that Hina has is kind of not... it diminishes. Hina's a good character. As I said, I love her, but the fact of the matter is that her story just revolves around Takemichi, and that's a huge setback. Look at, like, Uraraka from My Hero Academia. There is a moment where she's like, I love Izuku Midoriya, or I loved Izuku Midoriya, but in the end, like, she has her own story with Toga and with her... she has her own plot. Like, we know stuff about Uraraka. We don't about Hina. I want to know who she is. I want to know what she likes, dislikes, her dreams, her hopes. Besides Takemichi, because the one hope or dream we see is that she wants to be married to Takemichi. Do we even find out what she does as a job in the end of the manga? I don't think so. And before someone says it, yes, I know Tokyo Revengers isn't about romance, and I'm not arguing that it should be. The thing is, Wakui did write a good romance, ironically and unintentionally. Part 5. I want to talk about Mikey's role in the story and how he is set up to be a love interest. First, we can go through the points where we talked about with Hina, except talk about Mikey. Meet cute. The way the characters meet need to be cute. Takemichi is getting beat up and Mikey steps in to save him. This is literally the exact same way that Takemichi and Hina met, except with Takemichi and Mikey. So if you think that their meet cute is cute, you kind of have to admit that MITAKE's meet cute is cute. Tropes. I already mentioned how many tropes they fit in, but I could go on longer if you wanted. Flaws. The love interest needs to have flaws. Mikey's inability to open up and his tendency to self-sacrifice are flaws for him. They're similar to Takemichi's flaws, but the way these flaws manifest is very different. Equality or hero moment. There's so many hero moments Mikey has. Mikey is like, literally when he first comes into the story is a hero moment because he saves Takemichi from getting beat to a pulp. Mikey's weakness is his invulnerability. He saves Takemichi and then becomes a core reason for Takemichi's growth until he himself needs to be saved by Takemichi. Complementary characters. Mikey is physically strong, Takemichi is emotionally strong. Mikey is intimidating, he has a mask up so people will think that he's okay, but more importantly, Takemichi compliments him due to his strength coming from his emotion. Also, Takemichi compliments Mikey because his power comes from his weakness. His power comes from being weak and being able to, like, be strong in the face of adversity. From his vulnerability, he is strong-willed and his feelings reach others, and a huge strength Takemichi has is his ability to, like, get to know people and to bring in people when he needs them, which shows in the end when he makes a gang to go against Mikey's gang. He has to bring everybody back in to make the gang, you know? Oh, and the colors in the official art are complementary colors too. Plot relevance. This character needs to be relevant in the overall plot or whatever. Mikey's obviously relevant. He's like Sasuke to Naruto, okay? Like he's the deuteragonist or something like that. I forget what number part this is, but we're moving on. So we've already went through a summary of Tokyo Revengers. We've talked about reasons people ship MITAKE, tropes that they have, the differences between MITAKE and Takehina, or Mikey and Hina. Now we're going to be talking about the similarities in Tokyo Revengers. Now, Tokyo Revengers has a lot of parallels, whether it be Shin and Mikey, Kazutora and Shin, Mikey and Takemichi. Like, the parallels are endless, and some of it could be attributed to same face syndrome or whatever, which is like the idea that one author writes faces the same way. I don't know how deliberate these are, but I thought I may as well bring them up because it explains why people like this ship so much. So most of this is going to be Hina and Mikey parallels. I made a whole thread on this on Twitter, and I'm just going to reiterate the thread. We have Takemichi seeing them both on TV, Takemichi seeing Hina in the future, and Takemichi seeing Mikey in the future. The way that they meet and like a lot of the beats of the conversation happen the same. So Mikey and Hina both take him to some place they've talked about. Manila for Mikey, the park for Hina. The park is significant for them because that's where he breaks up with her in one timeline. And then Manila is significant because of what I mentioned before, where that's where Shin found the two bikes that Takemichi and Mikey now have. It's like they're twin bikes. So in both futures, Hina and Mikey die in Takemichi's arms, and they have the died in your arms trope where they have like a moment of saying thank you Takemichi and blah 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 blah. And also in both ends, Takemichi holds him and then says he wants to be the top guy in Tomen or save them. Also in that end, Takemichi has a big flashback of both of them, and then he also says no matter how many times I'll go back to the past to save you, blah blah blah. This next part I've gotten so much shit for mentioning. Both Hina and Mikey beat Takemichi up. Mikey was under a curse. Let's just add that. People hate when you bring that up, that Mikey was under a curse and Hina wasn't, but moving on. There are also parallels in the scenes where Hina and Mikey talk about meeting Takemichi, literally down to the way the panels are drawn. Takemichi gives Hina that four-leaf clover necklace, and then Mikey gives Takemichi the twin bikes. Here's some more just screenshots. There's a part where Hina and Takemichi kiss, which looks very visually similar to when Mikey's crying over Takemichi in the final arc. When Takemichi goes back to the past for the first time, he runs to Hina's door to see her. When he goes to the past the final time in the final arc, he runs straight to Mikey. There's a scene where Takemichi and Hina are holding hands and running ahead, which ends up happening to Takemichi and Mikey in the final arc. There's even a specific manga cover that was Hina's first, and then there was one of Mikey at the end. Like, there's so many parallels between these ships. There's more, but I'm too lazy to find them. Some non-Tokyo Revengers parallels that they have are Kyo and Toru. Since Kyo meets Toru's mom before the series even starts, and then Kyo meets Toru afterwards, it's similar to how Takemichi meets Shin in the beginning of before the story even starts. and then meets Mikey afterwards. They parallel a silent voice with the balcony scene and the Mikey jumping off a building scene. They parallel the part in Princess Mononoke where that everyone redraws, where it's like one person on top and the other person on the bottom, and it's like, you're beautiful, blah, 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 that one. They parallel Life is Strange a lot. They also parallel A Girl Who Left Through Time. I forgot to mention this earlier, but there's also a parallel between Draken and Emma, a canon ship in the story, and Takemichi and Mikey. Now that we've talked about Tokyo Revengers, let's talk about heteronormativity. Because this is a very insightful topic when it comes to Tokyo Revengers. Heteronormativity is what makes heterosexuality seem coherent, natural, and privileged. It involves the assumption that everyone is naturally heterosexual, and that heterosexuality is an ideal superior to homosexuality or bisexuality. So there's something to be said about Tokyo Revengers and heteronormativity, but there's also something to be said about every shonen and heteronormativity. Shonen manga has a lot of issues with writing love interests. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but it seems like male shonen authors cannot write a love interest to save their life. There are a couple exceptions, like Fullmetal Alchemist, because of that deficiency when it comes to writing love interests, and this proficiency in writing a secondary character, a deuteragonist or whatever. That's the reason why people ship gay stuff in shonen. When it comes to fandoms, we see a lot of heteronormativity and homophobia, whether it be like this weird underhand homophobia that people seem to have that I think I've made a video about, or just blatant homophobia, like people saying slurs. Both exist in fandom, specifically the Tokyo Revenger fandom, because it's all happened to me. And I made a video about this before, but there's something in fandom where people call you delusional and call you all these different things. It's so homophobic, let's be honest, that when you ship a gay ship that's not canon, it's delusional. When you ship a straight ship that's not canon, you're just shipping a straight ship. You're just shipping something, it's fine. Like, there's no way a character drops everything to be with another character platonically. There's no way Naruto chases after Sasuke the way he does and daydreams about Sasuke and kisses Sasuke platonically. There's no way Akira or Akiran is willing to give up reality itself to be with Akechi platonically. There's no way Takemichi thinks of Mikey's smile when Hina is in her wedding dress platonically. There's no way Takemichi throws out his future where he's going to get married to Hina to save Mikey platonically. But they expect us to believe that it is platonic. Now, to end this, I want to talk about queerbait because there's misconceptions about this, okay? Now, queerbait is when you use a queer relationship to get queer people to watch your media, read your book, etc. But those queer characters do not end up together. They end up being straight or alone or dead. People are hesitant to call Tokyo Revengers queerbait. But, like, if you look at the promotional material Wakui made about Tokyo Revengers right up until the end chapter, it's queerbait. You can't, like, deny when someone makes a music video dedicated to Mikey and Takemichi to the romance song, even down to the promotional art having Takemichi and Mikey paired together a lot. Like Hina is barely in promotional art, merch, etc., but Mikey is always there. One of the other reasons I feel very comfortable calling this queerbait, not comfortable about people's reaction to me saying that, but comfortable saying it and believing it, because if Mikey was a girl, this would not be an issue. Like, no one would deny that these characters have chemistry. It's the same with Akira and Akechi and Naruto and Sasuke. If one of the characters was the opposite gender, if it was a straight ship, no one would attest to them being seen romantically. And some people state how Takemichi originally wanting to save Hina means we quote-unquote should have expected this. Sorry that we're queer and we're upset that there is a straight ending again and again and again. I don't know how to end this in a way that ties a little bow on the top, okay? This was just me getting all my thoughts out on Takemichi and Mikey. It was a script I wrote years ago, because even in the middle of the script it says, I'll be back when Tokyo Revengers ends. Also comment and like, subscribe, because I know this is going to be a controversial one. And then right below that it says, I am back, tragically, after the last chapter. This has been in production since before the manga even ended. This was just a cathartic thing for me. After this, I'm going to put Tokyo Revengers in my past and not make anything more about it. Anyways, if you ship MITAKE, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this video. This is the longest video I'm posting ever on my channel so far, besides like live streams. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you want more videos like this. I'm already working on a Honkai Star Rail video essay, so I will be back with that, and back to our regular programming as soon as possible. Okay, see you guys later. Goodbye. If you like this video, I'm so happy. It's almost done. Okay, alright, bye.